Us enjoyed some fantastic cuisine. Judah Wickower out south and central. Yours truly at Mockingbird. We'll get a feel for how Keith celebrated Mother's Day. I'm sure yours went pretty well, did it not, Judah?
Yeah,
and Kenneth Hartman, welcome to the program. Thank you kindly for joining us. What was the highlight, besides the family time with Ma Dukes? Bill McChesney, hello.
The highlight yesterday?
Yep.
Besides a great lunch at South and Central, it was a beautiful day. Sat outside, enjoyed the beautiful weather with Liza. Can't ask for much more than that.
Can't ask for much more than that. Liza the dog, guys. Real Talk is a dynamic show. It airs on every social media platform. Our executive producer is getting ready in the green room. He's getting the last caking of makeup on. He is currently having his jacket lint rolled so as to not have any lint bunnies on the shoulder or the pocket squares being ironed. He is ready to go. How are you feeling, distinguished gentlemen?
I feel much better since the head call, so I feel much better.
Distinguished gentleman had a late rendezvous with the John today. Judah Wickower. The viewers and listeners are eager and ready for us to start. Questions have already come in.
We like questions.
On the Monday edition of the talk show.
I'm going to talk DOMs a little bit today. We have not spoken days on market in a long time, so I want to do a quick little live search on that.
Days on market. If you want to search by neighborhood, let us know. We'll put it in the feed. We love doing that.
We're going to start with Lake Monticello.
That's your home base. You know it quite well.
Yeah.
J-Dubs, let's rock and roll.
Quiet on the set.
Good Monday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and this is Real Talk with Keith Smith on the I Love Seaville Network. It's presented by Yes Realty Partners and Keller Williams Alliance, a show where anything goes. Real estate, life, the pursuit of happiness, live on every social platform. You, the viewer and listener, are welcomed to chime in and change the course, alter the course, adjust the course, massage the course, pivot the course of the conversation. Keith Smith will adapt. We're chameleon-esque. Judah Wickower, studio camera. Let's go to the Captain Chameleon himself, the distinguished gentleman, a brother from another mother, a gentleman that I enjoyed a party with on Saturday.
Yeah.
The Erpy family wedding, the event of the month of May in 2023.
The season.
Yeah, the wedding season.
The weddings. It was the event.
It was the event.
That was a lot of fun. I was as I was in the green room. I was
awesome.
Thinking, of how many hours we spend together. There's only a couple of times we've ever went out socially, so I enjoyed the heck out of it, and we should do it more often. I knew I was in trouble as far as dancing goes with Mrs. Smith. They started off with the Blue Danube, which is a waltz, which my wife is Viennese.
She loves it.
She loves it, so I got my hand grabbed and went up there.
I'm glad.
And then they went from that to Staying Alive at the Bee Gees, which my wife's a huge disco fan. So let's put it that way. I was not allowed off the dance floor until dancing was done. But we had a lot of fun. It was Glenmore did a great job.
Oh, fantastic.
Hats off to them. That was a great setup, and the church service, Mass, was a lot of fun. Enjoyed the heck out of it. And thank you for the Erpies for inviting us. We got to enjoy their family.
The Antonio Banderas of finance is off the market. Alex Erpy, he was married on Saturday. Yours truly was there. Keith Yona there. Judah Wickower there. Fantastic extravaganza with a traditional service at St. Thomas Aquinas, followed by a reception and a shindig of memorable proportions. It was filled.
Epic proportions.
It was filled with love and laughter and memories, and it was just special.
And a little bit of vino, maybe.
We got to spend some time together, which was great. My friend, days on market.
Yeah.
Where do you want to begin as we create some content here, Judah Wickower?
Oh, great, thanks.
You got this. You're a pro. You're a pro.
Well, I just, we've been talking about a lot of different things for a while, and we were, for the longest time, we were on days on market, days on market, days on market. That's kind of the metrics I like to use to kind of give the track of the market. And I just kind of wanted to put into a little perspective how things have been changing over the years. So before the show and my pre-production meeting, I ran a couple of quick numbers. I like to use Lake Monticello. It's my back door, of course, but it's also mathematically easier. There's similar homes, 4,000 homes over there. But year to date, there's been 107 closings sold. Days on market 5, and 345 is the median sales price. Last year was 88 was sold, so there's actually more sold this year. Days on market was less, which is 4. But you're going to ask me, hey, Keith, when was the last time it was over 60?
Hey, Keith, when was the last time the days on market were over 60?
That's amazing that you should ask me that, Jerry. It was between 2015 and 2016. 2015 was 77 days.
77 days, 2.5 months.
2.5 months. So we are now at 5.
5 days on market, car footprint.
2000. No. This is Lake Monticello.
Oh, Lake Monticello. Sorry.
And they probably
very similar.
They'll probably track, but to me, it's just a lot easier.
Oh, for sure.
2015. But you might also ask me, how was it 10 years ago?
How was it 10 years ago,
I'm
Keith?
so glad you asked me that question.
That's what I'm here for.
That is amazing, Jerry. When I go away for 2 weeks, I don't know what you're going to do.
I know. I'd be at a loss without you. My compass, my North Star.
Yeah. Do not call me. So, 166 days.
I wouldn't call you.
Yeah.
166 days?
166 days. So 10 years ago, now we were just coming out of COVID. We were just coming out of the time of great unpleasantness, right?
2013.
2013, 166 days, there was 17 sales. So that's from January 1 to today, 17 sales. We're 107 sales. This is closing for the same period. You want to take a gamble on what the price point was in 10 years ago?
10 years ago, Lake Monticello, $190. Lower.
166.
And now?
345.
Did you hear that? You're saying it's 2x?
2x. So
it's 2x.
Jerry might say, so what was happening just before COVID?
What was happening just before COVID, Keith? It's like we have fantastic chemistry.
It's amazing. So the question is, what year do you want to call just before COVID? 19?
I'd say just before COVID was 19.
19. You ready?
Yeah, 2019. I'd say that was the last normal year of real estate in Central Virginia, maybe the country. What was 2019?
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about today. What is normal?
2019 was normal, right? Viewers and listeners, was 2019 the last normal year of real estate? That's before the pricing bonanza happened. But finish your thought. What was 2019 Lake Monticello?
You might be right. So the reason I wanted to kind of have this discussion with you about days on market is to find out what normal days on market is, right? So 2019, we had 80 sold. So it's a little off, but not a whole bunch. 29 days. 209, so we're like $140,000 plus or minus. My math isn't that sharp up on that. So you gained roughly 135, 140 grand.
Since 2019.
It was 2019.
You hear that, Judah?
29 days on market. But 18, by the way, was 31. So it's pretty darn close. So 18, 19 is what we were talking about in our pre-production. I think 18, 19 was kind of like the pre-pandemic. But we're just literally nowhere near these kind of days. And I was reading an article, and I think I sent it to you guys.
You did. Yahoo News.
Yeah, well, there was another one I was reading, but in the Yahoo News, and it's interesting, everybody expected this interest rate hike to slow the market down. We have clients, first-time home buyers, that are like, oh my God, everybody said prices were going to drop 20%, yada, 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 everybody other than us. And that never happened. And we're now at 5 days on market, 345 at Lake Monticello, but 107 sold. That's a big number.
It's a huge number.
In 5 months versus, 2000, even if you want to call 2018, that was 83. 19 was 80. So between 18, 19, and 20, this is the reason why I wanted to kind of take a look at what was normal. So we were awfully close in volume. We were 85 and 20, 80 and 19, and 18, so it was 83. So that's kind of like the normal turnover. And if you take a look at the DOMs were 28, 29, and 31. 28 and 20, 28 days in 2020, 29 and 2019, and 31 in 2018. So my thinking, for what it's worth.
What's up, Nicholas Erpy?
Hey, Nicholas, thank you.
Yeah, we gave you props this morning,
Thank you.
Nicholas. It was a fantastic
Thank you.
time, dude.
Thank you.
Your family's beautiful, Nicholas.
It was really great to see, particularly the Bay Ridge family. I got to sneak in and talk a little bit Yankee with.
Here's a great stat for Nicholas, the finance guy. Lake Monticello, Nicholas, in 2019, the median value for a home in Lake Monticello, which is the largest neighborhood in Central Virginia, 4,300 homes or so. In 2019, the median value in Lake Monticello was what?
209.
209. In 2023, the median value is what?
345.
So it's gone from 209 to 345. 209 to 345 from 2019 to 2023. This question just got put on the feed. This is from Thomas Kelsey watching the program.
Hey, Thomas.
And he says, what has contributed to such a massive spike in values at Lake Monticello? That kind of spike, it essentially jumped 50%, more than 50%, really.
Yeah, depends on, yeah. 2020 was 227 value, and 2018 is 215. But yeah, it's jumped. Look,
He says that kind of spike in such a short period of time is cause for concern.
yes.
What's contributing to that kind of spike? He wants
Yes.
to know. It's a lot of value. It's a lot of factors.
Yes, and maybe no yes, right? So part of what got me thinking about this was the article that I sent about equity or that folks have, appreciation that folks are having, a value increase in value. So there are such a percentage of folks right now that have over 50%, have paid off 50% of their home, or they have 50% value in it on that end of it. Look, the spike is the bottom line is there's just no inventory and people are going to buy. But I think what really gets me going here is that we're roughly in the low 80s number of sales in 2020, 19, and 18, and we're now up to 107. By the way, last year was 88, so we jumped up literally 20 units, not quite 20 units. I think 20 units.
Here's what happened. Thomas. In 2019 to 2023, a 4-year period of time, why we saw such a spike in values is because interest rates improved affordability, or they made affordability more possible.
But really has it though, Jerry? That's the point I'm trying to get at.
It did for a short period of time. For a short period of time from 2020, 2021, even into part of 2022.
I don't think interest rates mattered.
It caused a gold rush, a house rush.
But it didn't.
It
It didn't though, Jerry. If I have 107 units that have sold in Lake Monticello for $345 from the beginning of this year to now, we're definitely in the 6% range. The same time period last year, which had some of the 3% in it, we didn't really do our doubling around to March or April. So about 50% of that time was at 3%, right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes. Yep. You're right.
So there was 88 sold, so there was less units sold, and the price was $314. So we're up. Let's round it up for Smith math to $315. So there's $30,000 price increase just in 1 year.
Let me ask you this question. In 2019,
And oh, by the way, days on market's pretty flat.
in 2019, how many total units in 2019 were sold at Lake Monticello?
Well, I only did the quarter. I'd have to go.
Oh, you only did Q1?
I did year to date.
Okay. So year to date. So you have the data from Jan 1 to May 15.
Year to date.
2019 year to date, Jan 1 to May 15. How many total units at Lake Monticello sold?
2019.
2019.
80.
Okay.
So roughly 27 more units sold.
Okay, 80. How many total units sold year to date in 2022?
88.
So 8 more?
So roughly the same amount.
So you're talking about 10% more. So then you can make a legitimate argument.
Days
what
on-
Keith
days on-
is saying that the interest rate literally didn't matter. That's what he's saying.
We said that. We've been saying that for a while. I've been saying that for a while. I don't think it mattered. And I think...
Then what's the spike? Why the spike in values here? Because we have more buyers than ever?
That's exactly
Because
what it
COVID
is.
is making people come here?
No, it's just... I think there was... And if you... Actually, I didn't bring it with me, but I took a look at month over month at Lake Monticello since about November. And there's this... And we talk about there was this clear decline in number of transactions and even flat on value. But this beginning of the spring market has gone up. And this is kind of something we've been talking about for a while. I think we are now back in a normal, whatever the hell that means, a normal cyclical of real estate. I think you're going to see sales and inventory increase a little bit, but then I think you're going to see a little bit flat in the summer, then come back up in the spring. But my God, the interest rates didn't impact it at all.
There you go.
It's actually hurt it, and we've been talking about that for a while, because some of the people in there that are at that 3% are not selling because they're at 3%, right? But clearly it has an impact, and I was really wanted to track where the DOMs are, because we haven't done that in a long time. And if we're calling 2019 and 18 kind of a normal period, we were hovering around 28 to 31, just call it 30, just an average 30 days on market. We're not even freaking close to that. So we're not even back to a normal absorption rate as homes are coming on the market. They're just going off on a quick thing. So I've been cautioned, I've been counseled.
By whom?
Oh,
Yona?
of course.
Okay.
That, we need to talk about the positive stuff, not so much the negative stuff, right?
I appreciate that, Yona.
Yeah.
Respect, Yona.
Yeah. So, what I look at this is a positive thing that folks are still selling houses. So that means 107 people had to put their houses on the market, or families, and 107 had to buy. So that tells me the market's moving. There's homes going on the market. There's homes coming off the market. They're doing it in a short period of time. The numbers are up there, right? But it's just think about it. What it was in 2002. The worst year was that I went back was 2013, which was 160. It was only 17 units sold. People don't remember that, but that was pretty brutal. That was a brutal market, right? You had. People weren't putting their houses on the market because they had no equity, right? They had no equity. People weren't buying them, and they were on the market for 166 days. Interesting. It was on the market for 166 days, and the medium sales price was 166. Who knew? Mathematical genius.
Keith, the coffee's kicking in today, pal.
Yeah, but it's a little extra.
I like it.
I got a cold, so
that's good.
A little extra in it.
It's good. So how do you characterize this market? Bill McChesney, we'll get to your comments here. We're going to get to Jennifer's comment here in a matter of moments. Nicholas said he loved seeing everybody at the wedding.
Yeah, it was great.
It was an absolute joy, Nicholas.
Yeah,
your family's gorgeous,
yeah.
Beautiful, welcoming,
Yeah.
just hospitable. I mean, everything I expected and more from your family. It was just a true pleasure getting to know your family. And giving Mrs. Earpy a hug was just the best, man. It was the absolute best. You just have beautiful family.
Just like the perfect hugger. Just.
Oh, she's great. I mean,
And I got the old Italian kiss on both sides of the
seeing
cheek.
Alex and his beautiful bride dance, that first dance, I loved it.
Oh,
I loved
it. The rest of the dancing thing was a lot of fun. I do not think that they came off the dance floor. I know Mrs. Smith didn't come off the dance floor.
Yona loves dancing.
Yeah. I had to use the bathroom. Honey, I need a break.
This is from Bill. He's got a question for you, Keith, specifically. And Bill, I appreciate you watching this program and offering perspective and really supporting the content that we do.
Thank you.
And anyone watching this talk show, if you'd like to offer perspective or case studies or questions for Keith.
Case studies, we love them.
Put him in the feed. He's been in the real estate business for 37 years, fantastically talented realtor. Bill, the mayor of McIntyre. Keith, is there a bubble burst coming that will leave newer buyers underwater?
No, absolutely not.
I don't think so either.
No.
There's way too many buyers in this area.
No. So I don't know if Judah has time to do this, but there was a
And this is a sizzle reel here, J-Dubs. Go ahead.
yeah. So there is. Look at you just writing it down. Smith screws it up. Let Smith screw it up. Yeah. So hold on a second here. Hold on. I'm gonna go ahead and give me a minute to go ahead and look at this because I want to make sure I quote these numbers right on this stuff. So hang on one second, folks. Give me a minute. All righty. So this is according to Realtor.com. Homeowners today estimated that they have a significant amount of equity. 74% of homeowners right now have at least $100,000 worth of equity. 20% of them, this is nationwide, of course, 20% of them have at least $300,000. And the problem with the bubble back in time of great unpleasantness, those numbers were flipped, completely flipped. But if you take a look at it, if you bought a home, you can do the math in your head a lot faster than I can. But if you bought a home 5 years ago, let's say 2018, you bought it at Lake Monticello at $215. It's now worth $345. That's what, $130,000 roughly.
Nice chunk.
So you're above the 74%.
Yeah.
And that you are in the 20% or somewhere in between that. So that's the difference. The difference is all this equity that people have in their home. Plus, let's face it, it is a challenge to get a loan, which is as it should be.
Yeah.
Right? Appraisal system got fixed.
You're seeing it get more challenging to get a loan with your clients?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You are seeing it?
Yeah. It's the process is, and this is a great conversation.
It's more rigorous?
Yeah, this is a great conversation for Scott on Wednesday, but it's the requirements to go ahead and get a loan. Look, we talk about it all the time. 2005, this cup of coffee I'm holding in my hand, which
I guess my point is it harder to get a loan now than versus 2019? Did some of this bank fallout nonsense cause loans to get tighter? That's what I'm asking.
I think it may have gone up a little bit, but right after the time of great unpleasantness, it got difficult. It got damn near impossible. They loosened it up a little bit, but it's stuck there. So A, it's hard to get a loan. B, you're not getting this crazy appraisal stuff happen where people were appraising it just because that's what the contract was. They're actually doing accurate appraisals on it. People have a ton of equity. If they get, God forbid this should happen, but they get a little upside down, they've got runway to get out. You didn't have that before, right? You owed more than what the market was prepared to pay. So I don't, if you bought in 2000 at Lake Monticello in 2013, you paid on median $166. You're now worth $345. That's in 10 years. And plus you paid your loan down, of course, right? Because you're smart, you pay a little bit extra every month. So
even more equity.
Yeah, a little bit more equity in it. So I don't see it.
What do they buy though? That's your issue. What do you buy? And we're trying to be positive. Bill McChesney appreciates your positive attitude. He is highlighting that you're being positive here. Kevin Yancey says he's watching the show on a day off right now. Jonathan's got a question.
Is Kevin not driving today?
Says he's got the day off. Kevin Yancey, enjoy that day off. Kick those feet up, buddy.
What the heck are you listening to us? Go out and
he likes
have
us.
Fun.
Kick those feet up, buddy. We appreciate you listening.
Go grab the missus and go have some fun.
He enjoys listening to the show. Always a good sign.
I like it when he texts me. He always has good stuff to say. Yeah, so here's the Captain Obvious question. And this is the reason I wanted to do this math before the show.
Jonathan's saying what you're talking about it's paper money, Keith. That's what he said. Keith is right, but he's talking about paper money.
I disagree with that.
He's saying this is
to define paper money.
Jonathan's talking about money that we don't have access to. The equity.
Well,
that's all equity, Jonathan.
Yeah, that's the way. If you have money in stock, you don't have it until no, it's no different. If you don't
money in a stock portfolio is much more liquid than equity in a house, my friend.
I disagree with that.
Come on.
In 2000,
Keith,
for the sake of a talk show,
please.
In 2013, absolutely.
The equity in a house, there's more
I'm
steps.
putting homes under contract in 5 days.
There are more steps you have to jump through for an equity in a house to tap the liquidity than you do a stock
The comment
portfolio.
I'm trying to make is you have money sitting in the stock
I
market.
get that.
You
I get
do
that.
not put money in your cash in your pocket until you sell your stock.
I get that.
So it's really no different.
Jonathan's point, and he's typing again, is unless I sell my
Thank you,
house,
Jonathan.
I don't have that money.
Of course. Unless you sell your stock, you don't have that money.
Yeah, yeah. He also makes the point, but I need a place to live. I can't live in my stock portfolio. He says that.
Real estate is the number one, if you take a look at it, that people invest in, grow wealth in. Just think about it, and I kind of wanted to get back to this. 107, and that number just blew my mind.
I mean, you know what's blowing my mind?
107 people have put their houses on the market at Lake Monticello from year to date, from January 1 to today, and 107 people bought. So that's telling me the market's moving.
Oh, market's moving.
That people are putting homes on market.
Market's clearly moving.
People may be concerned, right? And I'm being positive here, but I honestly believe this, right? So folks are putting stuff on the market. So that means people are moving somewhere, right?
People are moving. People are moving here. I want to highlight this. The market is going to continue to move because, Keith, my friend, we both know people are moving here. People are moving here by the hundreds, if not, what? Couple thousand. The UVA straight up said Paul Manning Biotech Institute was going to have a couple more thousand people moving here at six-figure jobs.
Yeah.
People are moving here.
But that's always been the case. People
Seems to be at a greater clip.
Well, totally. Yeah. If you take a look at 2000 and let's do 15, the market was a little bit better in 15, right? Again, Lake Monticello, 77 days on the market, but it was 65 versus 107. These are total units sold, 180 versus 345. I'm so glad I did this math before.
I know. Because
Doing
you're
this
doing it on
stuff
the
live.
fly is tough because Paragon doesn't move quick. It's very clunky, the Paragon.
Sometimes it's the user.
No, it's Paragon.
Sometimes
It's always
the user.
Paragon.
Sometimes it's what's called operator error.
No, you talk about
That's
another
like when-
neighborhood, maybe a top 5, top 6 neighborhood from a house count standpoint. I'd say I think Glenmore is number 6 largest neighborhood in Central Virginia. Keith, there was a time before COVID where you couldn't give away the houses. You talk about days on market. Glenmore epitomized long DOMs and homes sitting for years. Year and change.
This was
Now they're trading, we're talking
because
homes
what happened was
at $1 million that are trading in a week or two.
So what happened was people bought homes that they couldn't afford. So that's the difference now. The difference now, and that doesn't mean, God forbid, some people that may happen, God forbid. But back then it was commonplace. People were just buying homes they couldn't afford. Again, this cup of coffee could have bought a home. Now, not so much, right? And so technically people are buying homes they can afford. It's not answering the question of where are they going to go, because the reason I wanted to really look at the DOMs, because I haven't done it since January, to be honest with you. I wanted to see where the heck we were, right? And I think until these DOMs start getting back up to in the 20s, the high 20s, this is just going to be a hard slug. You've got to get in there and be in the game to make it happen. 107 people did at Lake Monticello for the beginning of this year. So that's telling me it's happening. You just got to stay in the game. And you got to stay in the game, and it's a tough fight. And it's the opposite, right? In 2013, we were sitting at kitchen tables with people trying to sell crying because they got nobody looking at their house. Nobody showing up to look at their house. Nobody wanting to buy. And it's kind of flipped the other way around. Now it's, if you want to sell and you've been in your home for 5 to 10 years, you've got a ton of equity that you can go do something else with.
Todd Rath watching the program, the
Hey,
owner
Todd.
of Blue Toad Hard
Yeah.
Cider. He says you can use that paper money and buy more houses with that paper money. That's
There
what
you
he's
go.
suggesting.
Great great thing.
You can use that paper money and buy another property and grow more paper.
So here's the difference between that and a stock, right? If you go ahead and sell your stock, you sold your stock. You can go ahead and use this 100, 200, 300 grand you've got, pull a little bit of money out of it.
You can leverage stocks as collateral for loans.
Correct.
You can leverage a stock portfolio and get an LTV of, what, 70, 75% loan to value of your portfolio. Now, the problem with utilizing a stock portfolio as collateral for loan is they often freeze that portfolio until the loan is paid, because that's the collateral. They don't want you trading out
I'm
of
a
it.
real estate guy. The Erpies take care of my stock and stuff.
But you can do that, though.
You can do that, but here's the difference. You can't put your head on a stock pillow, right? You still own something. You still be able to.
There's no one. I mean, look at what I'm doing. I'm very real estate heavy. You know that as well as I do. No one is a bigger proponent of real estate.
No, you're very
than me.
diversified.
I'm very real estate heavy. I'm extremely real estate heavy. I'm very real estate heavy. Have a lot of real estate property. Real estate heavy. What the game plan is to do is continue to diversify into stocks and equities to balance the real estate heavy of the portfolio.
Well, yeah, I was only real estate.
Yeah.
And then pop goes the
Right. You got to have multiple legs to the stool.
Learned a very valuable lesson during that
100%.
that time.
100%. Todd Rath watching the program. He highlights an article, or excuse me, Jason Howard on Rio Road highlights an article from the Wall Street Journal talking about how on a national level, folks with low interest rates are staying in place. We've been talking about it on the show.
That's the article I'm referring to.
I mean, that's it. That's us. Keith, you're talking about, the equity positions in people's homes. I mean, we're at, I would say, between 40 and 50%.
Oh, easy.
If I did the math and looked at it, maybe like 55%. Okay, like 55, and at something that,
You're in the 20% range.
And something that you're talking about trading at like,
How about them Mets, huh?
Yeah, hesitant to even say it. Yeah.
Let's not do that.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is you have enough equity that you could pull that out and move up the ladder, right? The issue is you're moving from 3% to 6%.
That's and Howard King Arroyo is talking about that. It's a conversation my wife and I have.
But not me.
And that's not even only the issue is there's not anything there to entice us to go through this process yet.
So you're fortunate, and I'm fortunate, right? You don't have to do anything.
No, you don't have to.
The people that have to, that's the struggle right now. And I have this right now. We can help you sell the house, right? But now where are we going to go on it? And, this is when we have to start bringing tools and tips and tricks to the table to help people to go ahead and, okay, we got to do some seller financing, some seller possession agreements, so forth and so on to help go ahead and move this thing along. But 107, that number just is rocking my world. I didn't look at it that closely at Lake Monticello. At freaking 6% in the beginning of this year, it is exactly what this client was telling me that I'm trying to help, that hold it. Everybody told me in October, November, and December that everything was going to drop. The real estate was going to go off the cliff because the feds were raising the interest rate through the roof. And guess what? We said it wasn't going to happen, and it sure as hell didn't happen. So
I would love, can you look at Paragon? I'll read some comments here. Can you look with your Paragon what the appreciation has been year to date in 2023? If you did like 2022.
For what area?
All car. Just curiosity for car. I mean, if you want to take Buckingham out, I don't know, because Buckingham might pull the numbers down. And that's part of 3 MLSs, Buckingham County.
Yeah, so let's do Albemarle.
You want to do Albemarle in the city of Charlottesville?
I'll do whatever you want me to do.
Okay, do Albemarle. Kevin Yancey says this: something has to give, or first-time home buyers will be commuting from Goochland or Buckingham or further out in Augusta County. Kevin, you're 100% right.
Well, that's what's happening.
And unfortunately, that's what's happening
that's
now.
So back to the Lake Monticello increase. I can't remember who asked that question. Why it went up there.
Thomas?
That's what's happening. So you used to be able to buy a house, and I haven't pulled up the numbers. Let's call it 2015, 16, 17, 18, in that range. You could buy a house in Lake Monticello, in Charlottesville, for $345. Well, guess what you can't buy? there. So that's why you go out to Lake Monticello. Prices go up. Inventory's not going up. They're not allowing any more homes to be built on it. And you're 100% right. This rubber band will go out.
Kevin Yancey, you want to? I think the entry point. Ray Cadell, I'll get to your comment here,
Hey,
fellas.
Ray.
I think and viewers and listeners, I think the entry point at Albemarle County, and the reason I bring this up is because I have a rental there. It was the first property I purchased. It's a condominium at the Villas at Southern Ridge. That might be your entry point in Albemarle, at least in the urban ring of Albemarle. And you're looking at somewhere between, for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, that's just under 1,200 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. You're looking at $235 to $250, depending on the finishes and how well taken care of that unit is. So if your entry point in Albemarle County in the urban ring is $235, $250, that really puts things in perspective. Because not everyone can afford $235, $250, and that's an attached unit. It's an attached unit. Ray Cadell says this, same inventory
Is it
problem
attached unit or a condo?
if it's time to downsize perhaps. It's a condo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ray Cadell's highlighting what we're talking about. Ray, what's up, pal?
Yeah, so if you would go ahead and look, you could just Google this on NAR, National Association of Realtors, and they're talking about why people move. They do it every year. We've been talking about it for a while. The generational report. I'd have to pull it up and pull the exact numbers at it, but a huge percentage, like way north of 50, way north of 75%. People are moving not because of money. They're moving because they have to, right? Retirement, family changes. I want to be closer to my grandkids, right? So forth and so on. Or they're coming to us, right? That's in our case, that way. So that's why people want to move. And the good news is, if they bought 4 or 5 years ago and they have to move, at least they've got some equity, right? Normal percentage increases, I've got a 22-year now running spreadsheet. It's roughly 5%, plus or minus. Some years a little high, some years a little bit low, depends on location and all this great stuff. But somewhere between 3 to 6% is what your normal expectation should be if I'm sitting in a house for 5 or 10 years, right? It's just, year over year compounded on its way up on that. That's not what the hell's happening.
What's the
here.
appreciation in Albemarle County? Year to date, 2022 versus 2023, and I'll give you some more comments here. Todd Rath, you always make the show better with your comments, dude. He says, an awesome vehicle people should consider, a vehicle that they might not know about, is a self-directed real estate IRA. Check out Equity Trust.
Oh, wow. That is something that we have to bring.
You cannot personally live in it. I don't know much about self-directed real estate IRAs. Do you?
No, I don't. But that would be an IRPI question for sure.
Jason Howard says, I can relate. With our interest rate so low and no need to move, we won't be trading up anytime soon, which keeps one more starter home off the market. Ours is at 275. I mean, 275, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, how do you get rid of 275 even if you're sitting on stacks of paper? And then where do you go is the problem. I have to show something that my wife would interest her.
Yeah. Well,
that's something where, like, this process of moving is a process.
Yeah.
So she needs something to see that would motivate her to go through this process.
So I've got to do a couple more numbers here, but Albemarle County single-family detached, the last 12 months, 924 units were sold. Medium days on market, by the way, is 6. And we're at 5, we're going to round it up to 566. It's 550 something. So let's take a look at what it was this time for the last year. Real quick here, let me go ahead and make a couple of quick changes. So that's May to May, right? I'm doing May 15th to May.
Yeah, year to date.
May.
I would not be surprised if the appreciation year to date in Albemarle County, last year versus this year, we're talking not even 5 months, but I would bet homes in Albemarle have appreciated double digits.
No.
You don't think so?
No, well, I know so because I just looked at it.
I say, what is it? Is it 10%? What's the number?
No, it's 10%. Yeah, it's about right.
10%, right?
So this, going back a year, Albemarle County, single-family detached, no new construction. I pulled new construction out because it kind of skews things around a little bit. 924 have sold. That's last 12 months. 6 days on market, 566, the same period a year before. 1,124. Same days on market, by the way, 6 and 510. So roughly 50 grand.
And year over year.
Year over year, roughly 50 grand. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Now that's
Appreciation Albemarle County year over year, year to date. January 1 to May 15th, 2022 versus January 1, May 15th, 2023. Values have appreciated $50K in Albemarle. $50K is 10%, right?
That's even marine math can figure that one out.
There you go. There you go. Roger Voisinay, we'll get to your
Hey,
comment
Roger.
here in a
How
matter
you
of
doing,
moments.
I'm
Now, are you
looking-
doing
I'm looking at-
Charlesville City?
No, I'm looking at attached.
Okay, you're looking at tats. Roger says this, I have had a real estate IRA, self-directed, for 12 plus years and have used it for notes, equities, and rental single-family detached.
Well, there's a show
Would be
there.
happy to discuss the advantages of this sometime. Roger, you were the first person to tell me about real estate IRAs when you came on the I Love Seville show years ago. I do not know much about them, but that guy is a smart dude, Roger.
Yeah. So when
We should get Roger and Todd and do a panel.
we're going to do that, but it'll be later in June once I get back. By the way,
He's
I'm not.
traveling for 2 weeks for his anniversary with his
Yep.
beautiful wife. Roger, thank you for offering to educate. We're going to take you up on that.
Okay.
Bill McChesney says, I predict Charlottesville's upzoning will instead be downzoning and in the long run will destroy single-family neighborhoods near schools. And he also predicts the nonsense of upzoning will spread to the urban ring in Albemarle County.
Yeah.
That's the value of an HOA neighborhood that protects the neighborhood from upzoning.
Yeah. You
There's a lot of HOA neighborhoods in the urban ring in Albemarle.
So I'm a proponent of it, right? As everybody knows.
I know you are.
On it, but Bill's not wrong.
I'm cautiously optimistic.
Bill is. Yeah. I'm a proponent of it if it's done right.
That's my concern.
I'm not sure.
It's going to be executed correctly.
The fact that I'm not shaving my mustache off,
It says something right there.
Says-
And it hasn't even started.
we haven't gotten to the real work yet.
Exactly.
And I've been saying this all along. You know, the real issue is going to be how is this going to be interpreted
Right.
and done on it. So that's the one end of it. As far as the market goes, you know, I don't really think this is going to have a huge impact on numbers. I really don't. I don't see it. I may be wrong. I can see it in other areas that it does. I know a little bit about the Seattle and the Portland version of it. There's just not these huge numbers happening, right? To quote Neil Williamson, somebody has to want to sell their property, right? Then somebody's going to have to want to buy it.
Do you agree with McChesney's claim that Albemarle will be swayed by this city upzoning and try to do a similar strategy?
Yeah. So this,
You agree with that?
yes. So let's call this missing middle ordinances because that's really what it is.
Okay.
Not-
You're saying upzoning needs a rebranding.
Oh, I've never liked upzoning. You know that.
You're right. You've never liked upzoning. Todd Rath would love to be here for that conversation.
Yeah.
And he
Todd,
says he'll
let's do
bring
it.
the cider. It's awesome.
I'll do it, but it's going to have to be mid-June. We'll reach out and even if Bill wants to come, I think Bill would be a lot of fun to have a conversation with on this. But lost my train of thought, Bill.
We're talking about upzoning, missing
Thank you.
middle, needing a rebranding.
Thank you. So this missing, totally, it's totally not the right branding. But in any event, you're seeing this go across the country. It started out west. Arlington just did the missing middle ordinance. There are a bunch of jurisdictions up and down the East Coast. This is going to happen. It's the du jour thing that's going on right now. But if you take a look at some of the areas that they're doing it, and we'll save this for a show later on in the summer or maybe the fall, where we'll go ahead and I'll pull in some data. How much difference did it really make? How much difference? And I've got the people in Portland and Seattle. I can reach out to them and get actual numbers and say, okay, guys, you guys had this for 2 years. What the hell happened? Right? And if it's nothing, that's one thing. You know, what really happened? Did you really all of a sudden have apartment complexes all over the place? Or did everybody just put ADUs in their backyard because now they can do it legally, right? Or they can do it without asking? Where did the
Either
market
one
go?
helps, though.
No, it helps, but I think what Bill's point is, I think he's saying two things, and I'm sorry, Bill, if I'm doing this incorrectly. One is I don't think it's going to make a huge impact.
He's saying where it's going to impact, I predict Charlottesville's upzoning is going to dramatically change neighborhoods around schools. And not for the better, is what he's saying.
Yeah, I just don't think so. Most of the map is the single-family detached map, which they could put, depending on which flavor of the day that you're looking at, anywhere between 4 to 6. Then you have to geometrically be able to do it. You got to be able to build on it. I think you're going to see a lot of onesies going to twosies. That you might see, right? But I just don't think there's going to be a huge influx. And I'll do this, Bill. If you chime in on the whole, I won't be here Friday. Right.
Who's filling in for you Friday?
Quentin's filling.
All right, Quentin Beckham. There we go.
Yeah, I'll be watching grandbabies and getting ready for a bike race. But I'll look into that. I'll pull up some information and have it for a future show.
Ray Cadell says he watches and listens very often, and we
Thank you.
appreciate that from you. Ray Cadell. Bill says the areas
Cadell,
around the schools is where the higher density is happening. That's why he thinks the neighborhoods are going to be greatly impacted.
Yeah, I need to study the map a little bit more. He probably knows that way better.
Oh, dude, he knows it
way
inside
better,
now.
Way better than I do.
Follows it closely.
Yeah, but the couple of ones that I remember was all that yellow, which is the lower density than the other colors.
I don't think the upzoning is going to have a dramatic impact outside of raising values. I think that's the impact that upzoning is going to have. I don't think we're going to see a ton of new housing. I think what we're seeing, though, is the areas where upzoning is a possibility, it's making that dirt and that land more opportunistic, which is making it more valuable, which is driving up the cost.
Well, I know this much because I've sat in enough meetings for this. I think they're like rethinking the affordability component of it, right? And what the incentives are. That's why this conversation we're going to have with Albemarle County, with Bill, I think is going to be the opposite. I think what you're going to see is this affordability or this development density or this bonus density or whatever they're going to do, which we're going to be part of for Albemarle County's developer incentives, whatever that shakes out to be. I think you're going to see Charlottesville pick up on that. That's part of the reason why I think this has been pumped.
What do you mean see Charlottesville pick up on that? What's that mean?
So I think Albemarle County has a higher requirement in percentage. I think they're at 20%. Charlottesville, the
20% for 10 units or more.
Correct.
A project that's
well, that's off the table.
Okay, that was pulled?
That's why we're having this work session, which
Okay.
we'll let everybody know. It's the 28th of June.
Okay.
We're going to have it in yours truly.
That's pulled.
Yours truly is going to moderate that. We're going to bring everybody together. It's going to be a public meeting, so folks are welcome to come and do it. But that's what we're going to work through that 10, 20, so 10 units, 20% affordability at 60% AMI would have shut down any new development.
Yeah, no developer would touch that.
At
At all.
Even the nonprofits wouldn't touch it.
Right.
So we're going to hopefully come up with a better solution. I'm a positive kind of guy, and I'm positively thinking we're going to come up with a solution.
How about this one? This is from a new visitor, a new viewer of this talk show. We appreciate new viewers watching the show.
Thank you.
Isn't the only solution for us to do in the city is to build up? Where else would we be building? And that's from Mary Britton.
So Mary, I would encourage you, which you probably are doing anyway, but do Seville's plans together. Take a look at the map. It's very color-coded on it, where there's low density, medium density, and high density, to include height in it. But if memory serves me, and Bill, chime in if I'm wrong, a majority of when you look at the map, a majority of the city is this yellow, which is this lower density, meaning height kind of requirements. It's density and height, is all kinds of stuff. So there's 2 modules already released. The third one has been on permanent hold, because what that third one is how the hell they're going to actually do it. And Was that too direct?
No,
Sorry.
that's it.
Well, that's what it is, and that's
I know.
the reason why I keep
I
it. That's
know.
the most important one. You can come up with a great plan, but how do you implement that plan is usually the problem, and I suspect staff.
How do you implement it with a staff that's already overworked and has vacancies everywhere?
But this is classic, the way the
How
government.
is this going to be enforced? Where's the accountability?
No. You're already in enforcement. How the hell is it going to be reviewed and approved? You're in enforcement.
Yeah. How's it going to be approved? Yeah.
How is it going to be reviewed? How is it going to be approved? How is it going to be interpreted?
How's it going to be out for the community to understand? How's it going to be communicated? Where's the website with all the rules? Where's the playbook?
Their work.
They got the playbook?
They got the first two parts of the playbook.
Okay.
The third part of let's say they're the consultant's opinion on it, because none of this has been approved yet, right? But the last module is, how is Mr. or Mrs. or Miss or whoever, whenever I get myself into trouble here with it, that's working at the city is going to interpret all this crap. The politics are done. Now it's up to the staff to say, okay, well, no, you don't quite actually. They have to interpret this. That's why we're going through all this time with the developer incentive at Albemarle County to make it. My goal is to make it simple. Let's keep it simple, silly Smith, right?
Kiss Smith.
Keep it simple, Smith.
Yeah.
Not stupid.
Keep it simple, Smith.
Smith.
That's the acronym.
Smith.
That's
Smith.
the acronym.
That's what that means, Smith. And there you go, Smith.
Keep it simple, Smith.
6 bullet points.
There you go.
Nice and simple. Don't make it complicated. If you do this, you get to do that. Or if you have this or meet this criteria, you get to do this. And that's it. I don't think it'll be that way.
Neil wants to know, how big a staff do you think will be required?
Oh, he knows this more than I do. Thank you, Neil, for asking a question. By the way, happy belated birthday.
Yeah, Neil, happy belated.
His birthday was
Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah. He looks really.
Happy birthday, Neil Williamson.
He looks really great for 22, 23,
Happy
doesn't
birthday
he?
to you. Neil's a great guy. How much staff do you think will be required? It's a great question. Here's another question. I have a follow-up.
I know this much. I don't think I've never heard a conversation brought up about it. But Neil and I were at the meeting with Albemarle County. Albemarle County staff at the board meeting for the developer incentive and all this said they only needed one, and I literally
laughed out loud.
I literally laughed out loud.
loud.
It's just not. But
see, Judah, it's not just me. The bosses with the unrealistic expectations. Albemarle County, the bosses were like, we only need one person to approve all this paperwork. That's it. It's a massive county of over 100,000 people here. How many do you think they need, Neil? Here's a follow-up question for you. Follow-up question for both you guys.
So they're going to try to do it. They're going to try to do it with their current staff.
See, that was my follow-up question. Yeah. Is this work that's going to be put on current staff?
It will be.
At no additional pay? Just do this additional
I don't know.
work?
I don't know the inner workings.
Or they're going to bring in new people to manage this?
No.
I think it's what you said. I think they're going to take, because they can't hire anybody. I think they're going to take.
I'm thinking for a whole different reason.
I think they're going to take current staff to do this and say, you have to do this at no additional work for you, no additional compensation
What
for you.
happened to Balloon Keith?
Balloon Keith got popped.
Really?
Yeah, oldest son. He's got, you've heard of Touch of a Jeweler?
Uh-huh.
There's a Touch of a jackhammer worker. That's my
he'd make a great Marine. Destroy.
He doesn't even know he's doing it. Like, he picks something up, and he's so rough picking this up. Like, he's just breaking it in his hand.
I don't know. I thought that the Balloon Keith was going to stay while I was gone.
He's the most destructive person I've ever seen, and he doesn't even know it. I mean, granted, he's 5 years old. Yeah. I love him dearly. Neil, how many people do you think they need?
At all?
He does do that. Yeah. He does. He's very much like us.
We're going to have to sign him up.
You and I, yeah.
Sign him up for
in
the
about
Marine
5
Corps.
years, we're just going to put him here, and he's
No,
just
we're
going to fit right in.
We're going to sign him up for the United States Marine Corps. He'll do good.
That's a great question. Is it current people that are going to run the upzoning?
But look, you're a business guy. What would you do if you're going to bring on a new program? Let me finish the question.
Okay, sure.
If you're going to bring on a new program,
yep.
Are you going to hire a bunch of staff before you know how much sales are going to be?
Absolutely not.
So that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
They're
Because
not-
what if there's nothing?
That's exactly
What
right.
if nothing
That's
materializes
exactly,
of this?
That's exactly right. I mean, logically, that's what will happen. They'll work within their current staff structure. That's the reason why this whole interpretation module. Okay, I don't know this for a fact. This is my thinking on why this final module, which I consistently think is the most important. The rules are the rules and all this stuff. But the last module, because I think they're just like, oh, well, how the hell are we going to do this? And that'll happen. It'll be the number of staff on that stuff.
Bill McChesney says the controller of the Greenbrier neighborhood thread, is it on Nextdoor? Or he says email. There's an email thread. The controller of this communication platform for the Greenbrier neighborhood, I believe the mayor lives in Greenbrier.
I don't know.
And I think
He
Brian
doesn't-
Pinkston lives in Greenbrier.
He doesn't like me enough to
He
tell
says the controller of this email thread is pro upzoning, and this controller of this communication platform has deemed discussion of upzoning as political, and any of those emails or posts are deleted by the moderator.
Whoa. Try that again?
So Greenbrier, the neighborhood,
Yeah.
this is either an email chain or a thread on Nextdoor. They have moderators,
yeah.
and the moderator deletes them.
The
That's
moderator for Nextdoor deletes them? Or the moderator? I'm not a fan of
So
Nextdoor.
Nextdoor is such complaining. I can
I
barely
just-
read Nextdoor.
Yeah.
I try not to read it. It's complaining.
I-
There's moderators of these threads that they're layman people, and these people the moderators are deleting.
So it's not actually corporate.
It's not corporate.
Yeah.
No, it's people that live
like
here.
Twitter would delete something if it
No,
was,
not
got
corporate.
it,
Yeah. And Neil thinks the new compliance department includes managers and workers. That's what they need. A completely new compliance department in the city of Charlottesville with managers and workers if they're going to do this.
So the question I thought was, what were they going to do? What they should do is absolutely, they should, but they don't have compliance now for zoning.
That's what I'm saying.
For zoning right now. But what Neil is saying is 100% right. So
How can they hire
so they're
more
gonna
people
ramp up-
for a department that we don't know we need when they can't even hire people for departments that we need?
No, so
No, genuinely.
I don't want to put words in Neil's mouth, but I think what he's talking about here is overall compliance, right? There's all kinds of compliances. I think the city just hired somebody for equity. There's a compliance.
Yes.
Is it equity?
Yeah, one of the only ones. Oh, no. It's for housing mistreat, landlord issues. It's one of the first ones in the state. I just read this. Charlottesville City Housing. I'll find the article here.
I believe it's the country, actually.
No, it's the state. Office of Human Rights the Office of Human Rights is planning to hire a housing discrimination investigator.
Yeah, there you go.
And the housing discrimination investigator is one of the first ones in the Commonwealth.
Yeah, okay. I got it wrong. The state.
It's for people to be aware of their rights when negotiating with landlords in case landlords are doing the heinous and awful things of not approving people for rent because of skin color. That's awful. This should be something that is part of what we have here in local government.
It's federal law and state law.
It's-
but now they have a department that's going to enforce that.
Office of Human Rights, one of the only ones in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Lonnie Murray will get to your comments. Kevin will get to your comments.
But back to the comment that Neil made. It's across most jurisdictions, Fulvana County, Greene, so forth and so on. They have all these ordinances that they just don't enforce, and sometimes there's a couple of folks in there that goes ahead and do that. So if Neil's proposal is okay, if you're going to do this, you're going to create this whole organization that's actually going to implement it and enforce it. I'm talking about how the building permit even gets approved and how that process goes through. Because one of the problems that Portland had and Seattle had when they did this missing middle thing, right, that the zoning end of it said, yeah, you can do 6 units, you can do all this stuff. Nobody ever talked to the building officials. And, now that takes precedent over, you can put 6 units on or turn a home into 4 units or whatever it is, but now you have to comply with the building code, and that becomes a whole different animal. There's egress, right? There's fire protection, which is usually the big thing. Some of these basements have to be a certain height, right? The stairways need to be a certain thing and a certain set of code, and that's what was happening. There's this huge conflict between, okay, this is what the planning people want, and the official goes, yeah, but we can't do that. So they had to stop what they were doing, get back and resync everything, and made sure that the building department is on top of part of this. So my question is the building folks who ultimately issues the building permits for this stuff part of the conversation? I hope they are. I would expect that they are. But man, that'd be horrible if they weren't. Does that make sense?
Well, it makes perfect sense. Explain that extremely well. We're going to get to this comment from King Arayo. Are the staff who will be approving things under the, are they paid hourly or salary?
No, it's salary.
As a salary employee, you can add to my plate and I can either do it or quit. If you are hourly, that's a lot of overtime and some tasks aren't going to get done. It's salary.
It's salary. They also, and again, that's why I'm really
Lonnie, I read the comment incorrectly. Bill McChesney was talking about an email thread, not Nextdoor. It's a group who signed up for an email thread, and the owner and the guy who's the controller of the email thread in the Greenbrier neighborhood, according to Bill, is deleting emails or not approving content that's anti-upzoning. So it was not Nextdoor, it was an email thread. I want to clarify that. Keith, you jump in.
Yeah, so
salaried employees.
Yeah, so thank you. So the other alternative, that's the reason why this module I think is so important to me anyway. I mean, they could outsource it too.
I would hope they don't do that.
But they could.
Bob Fenwick, I saw one of Bob Fenwick's signs as we were walking around Belmont, and Bob Fenwick lives in North Downtown, and on Mother's Day, we walked from the downtown mall to downtown Belmont for brunch at Mockingbird.
Oh, good.
Fantastic brunch. We walked by many political signs in Belmont and saw Bob Fenwick. His platform is no new taxes and no consultants.
So I think if you listen to the debate,
Williamson and Tubbs' debate.
Yep, and shout out to them. I think my takeaway from it, for what it was worth, is the no new taxes version of that was to raise the business tax or raise the commercial to bring money in other than rooftops, right? I think that no new taxes is a bit of a loaded slogan.
Of course it is.
But if you listen,
it's a catch can.
If you go back and listen to their Zoom thing, which I think Neil put on the link, and he did. He can put it back in again. If you listen to what he says, I think it's more about finding taxes from different sources.
Yeah, incremental sources of tax revenue to lessen the burden of taxes on rooftops.
There's a great idea about this whole thing.
Dora.
There you go.
That crushed it every Tom Tom festival.
Yep.
We have some of the most diversity we ever have on the downtown mall.
And revenue coming in.
Yeah, and they want it. And they're begging for more foot traffic.
Well, anything with alcohol is always a good thing.
I mean, it's Charlottesville.
So I got to tell you, I do have a little bit of a pet peeve with the Fridays After 5 folks. Yona was volunteering for the
charity, Fluvanna SPCA.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
at Fridays After 5, she was staffing the event.
And I went for a little 25-mile bike ride,
okay.
And I wanted to sit there and support her and all that stuff, and they wouldn't let me and my bike in there. I couldn't bring my bike in there.
I mean, it's pretty crowded.
Uh-huh.
You can bring animals, though, right?
And I can't bring my bike?
Can't bring a bike. So what'd you do?
I texted her, said, I love you, I'm going home.
And then she drove solo?
Yeah, because I'm not leaving my bike on the side of the road to go in there.
Yeah, no. I mean, that bike is thousands of dollars. You could put it in the truck.
Yeah, but that was at the office.
I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
So you rode to the office.
I just wanted to say hi to my wife. That's all. I wasn't allowed to do it, but that's okay. I'm on this bike kick right now. So anyway, oh, look at that!
I know it flies. It's
already
already 11:20.
I love the shows when we just have kind of a basic topic and throw it out there, and the people come back and they just make Batman and Robin be Batman and Robin.
Lonnie Murray, Charlottesville has spent way too much on consultants. West Main Street. But if you eliminate consultants, that will mean the need to hire more staff and using more public advisory groups.
So then you have the flip side of that. who the hell are you going to hire?
I would rather we have permanent staff than consultants.
Yeah, but
there's no institutional memory with the consultant path.
Well, you're not having institutional memory with staff either because they're not staying long enough.
Well, then we got to
But you
figure out a
can't-
way to pay them more. That's. I mean, if
there you go. That you're
figure
you're
out a way
out.
to pay them more.
Well, that's easy. You just pay them more.
Yeah.
The problem with that is where does that money come from?
Well,
And if you're doing the no new taxes and you don't have enough commercial revenue coming in and they're not approving DORAs or they're not approving other things that can bring in money into the coffers, they're not going to. I fight
well,
this,
I mean, one of the things like here's, and I'm going to talk about this on the I Love
I
Seville
fight
show
this battle all the time.
at 12:30. We were walking again. Like I talk to everybody, like you do, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we just get to talking to the clerk at Be Just, the store in Belmont, and this is an elevated store. It's got price points that are for an affluent shopper. It's a fantastic store. Be Just. It's got a lot of home goods type of inventory, like elevated home stuff for your home. Okay.
I got my whiskey glasses from there.
There you go. I mean,
Freaking awesome.
they're awesome. They're absolutely awesome. So here's the point I'm making here is they're moving. And they're moving across from Boar's Head to Hunter Craig's project across from the Boar's Head Resort that's turning into this epicenter of high-end boutiques, like elevated shops. The downtown mall is facing pressures from a lot of different places right now.
Why is that?
The rents are high downtown. The foot traffic has dropped since pre-COVID levels
I wouldn't
downtown.
be able to tell that on Friday night, that's for sure.
The foot traffic has dropped. Be
I
Just,
mean, you
she
would know
straight
that.
up said from downtown Belmont, she goes, we're moving to Ivy Road because we get no foot traffic.
Yeah, that I can see. So
Downtown Belmont's different than downtown, I'll give you that.
two different markets.
I'll give you that.
Two different markets. Downtown Belmont has become a restaurant destination.
For sure.
Right? And
Yeah.
that's probably what's going to go in that space, right? That's a restaurant destination. So, question for you. You guys went on Mockingbird, right? How come they don't use the deck there, the outside eating? I never
It's a
understood
great
that.
question.
Never understood.
They had the first level filled with outside people, but not the deck. And it's a beautiful, Adam
Yeah.
Fraser owns the building.
Yeah.
Adam Fraser also owns the building that's the local restaurant.
Yep.
Adam Fraser owns the Jean's Beauty Salon next to the local, which he's turned into a private dining space. He lives in Belmont, Adam Fraser. That's a great question. It's a beautiful building, Adam. You have two fantastic
The
trophy
renovation work
properties.
he's done, it was just off
Oh
the
my
chart.
gosh, it's beautiful.
But Moss, right? Plenty of outdoors. I don't know. I just don't understand not using it. There's got to be a reason why. I thought you might.
It's
know.
a lot of walking. Maybe that's what it is. And they have a ton of seating. I mean, Mockingbird has some of the most seating in Charlottesville. So maybe it's the walking piece. So what do you got planned for the rest of the week? You're out Friday, but here Wednesday.
Yeah. So I've got a little prep. I'm heading up to Connecticut on Thursday after I take my pop to a doctor's appointment, and then going to go up there. I'm going to babysit. So everybody keep their fingers crossed that both my 2.5-year-old granddaughter and my 4.5-year-old grandson survive 24 hours with Pop Dad. So we're going to go ahead and hang out together on that. Then I'm doing a little ride, a little 85-mile ride on Sunday. And then my sorry you-know-what is going to drive back down on Monday after that race. Hopefully I'm going to be able to do that. And then we're heading away for our wedding anniversary,
That's beautiful.
37.
That's awesome.
37. Looking forward to it. So Wednesday is Scott, and that'll be my last show for a little while. And then we've got awesome people like Neil and Nikki and Quentin and Scott filling in for me. So I will be that weird guy checking in because I usually
You lurk. You lurk. He's a lurker. I
do.
like that you lurk.
I like it. I lurk. I go, hey guys, how you doing?
I like that you lurk.
Yeah. I honestly love.
We like when you lurk.
I honestly love doing this.
Me too.
I'm going to give you a little bit of a shout out.
Okay.
A little bit of a compliment. I was watching you on Saturday,
Okay.
and you work a room really well.
Thank you.
And I was just watching you. You were going from table to table. You spoke to if not everybody, almost everybody
Tried
in the room. And you walked around and you did that. You periodically stopped at the bar. Then you went and did this. Periodically stopped at the bar and did this. But, you were very strategically working the room.
Same with you.
Not as much as you did. I enjoyed our table mates. And it was funny, right? What did we end up talking about?
Real estate.
Real estate.
Always do.
Right.
Everywhere you go, you talk about real estate.
We do.
I
can assure you on
It's
this.
such a great topic to be well versed in because it applies to everybody's life.
Well, every trip around the sun requires 3 things, right? Right? Look at me. Right? Shit, I screwed it up already. Clothing, food, and shelter. I screwed it up. Didn't even get there.
I didn't even look at you. Once you do that line, I immediately looked down.
Yeah, then of course, I now get conscious. You could have just looked at me.
What I need to do is just look at you and think about like cutting grass so I'm not smiling or goofing around. All right, you want to try it again?
No,
I'm going to think about cutting grass. All right, this is what I need to do. Ready?
The moment is gone. The moment is gone. But
so much fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's because everybody wants to talk about it. It is because it's one of the 3 things that are required to go around the sun, right? And all kidding aside, it's clothing, food, and shelter, right? We joke around about me losing it and all that stuff, but it's really that. The other thing is right? Remember the time we looked at the numbers, right? Hold on a second here. Let me go ahead and find this. What the heck was going on in 2013? The economy sucked. Why did it suck? Because housing was down, right? We were 17, Lake Monticello, 2013, 17 homes sold. 2023, 107. Housing is such an important part of our economy. Actually, I got asked to be part of a couple of panels at the Reese Media CEO thing. I'm going to actually sit next to Dr. Lisa Sturtevant and part of a panel with her. I was asked to be part of it.
That's big time.
Any opportunity to sit next to her and
she's
talk
smart.
to her is pretty awesome. It's going to be me, her, and I think Yoon. I'm going to go, huh?
You're going to do great.
PhD
on street smarts.
Got kicked out of high school.
No, PhD on street smarts.
Yeah, well.
Keith Smith is a realtor. He will help you get in the home that will help make your life happy, guys. Keith Smith, Jonas Smith, Yes Realty Partners.
And our team members, and pull down our partner tab, please. Without those folks, we couldn't be doing this, so please support them. Please, they're in the food chain. Please reach out to them.
RealTalkWithKeithSmith.com. Click the Partners tab. This show also archived there. Keith Smith, Yes Realty Partners, the fabulous Judah Wickower, Jerry Miller, I Love Seville show in 1 hour and 2 minutes. So long, everybody. Nicely done, my friend.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Had a lot
Good
of
job,
fun.
Judah.
I'm going to definitely miss you guys. You know that.